Hey, and welcome to the Cruise Amigos live from Virginia. Chillie Falls with Chillie's Cruises. And to introduce you to everybody, everybody knows Pete in London. He's the guy with the little bit of thin hair on top.
That's
and
me.
Then down there with the glasses on underneath is John Reitmeyer. He's from up there in Crookston, Minnesota, and my other computer is making noise. So I've got to get that off. Sorry about that.
He just likes to hear himself.
I forgot that I had the audio on the other computer. Anyway, and our guests today, some of you that have been around know both of these lovely ladies. I call them my Scottish ladies. There's Allison Moore. She's got the polka dot the top on there. And then there's Rhona Nicholson. Who's down there? She's a little blonder than Allison is. So, and the whole idea from today is Girls Day in Edinburgh. And what prompted you guys to take off and go to Edinburgh?
Well, I think it's myself and Rhona meet up 2-3 times a year anyway. We used to work together back in 1988, back in Mallorca. So we've known each other that long. And we kind of meet up 2-3 times a year, just usually in Glasgow for a catch up. So we just decided, because we haven't been out and about much, let's change it and go to Edinburgh for a day out and see how things were after lockdown.
And you guys did, in fact, make it to Edinburgh, as you can see.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now I have to ask a question because I've been prompted to do this. Was there any misbehaving while you were in Edinburgh?
Unfortunately, no, Chillie.
Misbehaving.
Not on this occasion.
We don't believe you, ladies. We don't believe you, do we, guys?
No. We were
men in kilts.
I think
we were on our best behaviour. We really were, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think debauchery is the term you're looking for. Debauchery.
Wow. Some of the pictures they sent, I mean, that to me, that looked like there could have been some misbehaving. I don't know about anybody else.
That's debauch and re, right there. Debauch and re. Debauchery.
I want to know, was that the first, second, third, fourth, fifth?
That was our first, wasn't it, Allison? We had that in Greyfriars Bobby pub, which we were really pleased to get into, because normally Edinburgh is just super, super busy. But I think with everything in the virus and so on, the streets were far less busy. We got into Greyfriars Bobby pub, no problem whatsoever. Had something to eat. It was just one drink each actually. And then we had a sneaky little drink later on, didn't we, Allison?
We did, outside the Royal Palace. Yeah.
Well, I will ask you guys to tell the Greyfriars Bobby story again when we get down to those pictures.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not sure exactly how to do this, so I'm just going to throw some pictures up and you guys just talk your way through it.
Okay, that's St. Giles Cathedral. So that's on the Royal Mile. So as you're looking up there, that's heading up towards Edinburgh Castle. So yeah, it's one of the big prominent buildings on the Royal Mile. And it's set in Parliament Square in Edinburgh. So yeah, it's a thing. It's absolutely beautiful inside. We didn't go in this time, but if you're in Edinburgh and you get a chance to go inside, it's stunning inside. Beautiful.
And one thing, I don't know what kind of order these pictures are going to come up in. That's a problem. But
okay,
I'm just going to throw them up.
Yeah, I'll tell you about this one. So that one is the Palace of Holyrood House. And just to explain, on the Royal Mile in Edinburgh, it's like one of the big main thoroughfares, which I think does exactly go for 1 mile. It starts at the castle at the top end, where you saw the first photo of Allison and I outside, and it runs for 1 mile downhill to the Palace of Holyrood House. It makes a really nice walk, lots of cobbled streets, very old-fashioned. Now, Allison and I had a little sit outside the Palace of Holyrood House. We didn't go inside because, have you been in before, Allison? I can't remember.
I haven't been right inside, no. I've been in the entrance, but not right in the building.
Okay, I actually went there with my dad just before the New Year. I don't know if you can see this or not, got a guidebook here somewhere. It's not really showing on my screen, I don't think. Oh, there we are. I'm moving the face out the way. Yep.
Okay, now wait a minute. I can let me show you what I can do with that.
All right. Okay.
There, here we go.
Yeah. So if you ever do get the chance to go, it is well worth a visit. Lots to see inside. Very interesting. You can walk around the gardens as well. So definitely worth a visit, and that's at the very bottom of the Royal Mile.
Chillie, I've got a couple of questions before you show them all the photographs, because I know you've got lots of photographs to show. The first question, Rhona and Allison, is quite a lot of people who are watching this are cruisers, and hopefully, and many people are from across the pond, where our friends Chillie is, and John, who looks like he's on the phone to somebody at the moment, is as well, yeah? Now, I want to know that if I was on a British Isle cruise from maybe across the pond or from Europe, what's the best way? Where do the cruise ships normally dock, and how can you get to Edinburgh to have a day out to visit the places that you're talking about?
Yeah, but I think they normally dock in Leith, if I'm right, Rhona. Yeah.
Okay.
So Leith's not too far into the town. You can, I'd imagine, from the cruise ships, there's buses go right into the city centre, or taxis are very easy. I mean, it'll probably be 10 minutes or so in a taxi, 15 minutes. It's not too far at all. And they'll usually take you into Princes Street, or Waverley Bridge is kind of the main hub. Used to be able to pick up the hop-on, hop-off buses from there, but it's closed off at the moment, pedestrianised. So I think they're just slightly away from that. But yeah, it's not too far at all.
So if you are cruising, Lee, you say, yeah, Lee.
Leith, and one of the hop-on, hop-off buses actually goes to Leith, because the Royal Yacht Britannia is docked. You can go on that. That is a fantastic tour if you want to do the Royal Yacht Britannia. Superb.
Okay, so I know if I'm on a cruise ship, then I can get off, I can take the hop on off bus to Edinburgh, to the Britannia, and that's something I can do. I don't have to go on an excursion with the cruise line. No. I just want to go back on one thing that you mentioned for the viewers, because you did, before we go too far, is you worked together in Mallorca. Can you tell us where you worked and what you did?
You want to go first, Allison?
Okay, well, that was back in 1988. I worked in the flight department for a British tour company. Rhona worked for the same tour company. She was a rep, but we both lived in Palma at that point, and we stayed in the same apartment block, and Rhona was in the flat below me. So yeah, we got on like a house on fire. I had a few social nights out and things like that, and we both repped the second year. I think we were in Magaluf the second year. I think we both were in Palmanova.
I was in Palmanova, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we when I moved to Glasgow about 10-12 years ago, we kind of met each other again, and we've kept in touch ever since. So yeah.
That's fantastic. Nice. I want to say hello to Robert, by the way, who's from London. Robert says hello. Hi, Rob, mate. You watch a lot of our shows. Appreciate it. Chillie.
Okay. That would be...
Yeah, that was taken from the esplanade of Edinburgh Castle. Normally, if you go back to the one of myself and Rhona, you can actually get up under the archway into the castle, but because of things at the moment, they've stopped you. You can only get sort of halfway up the esplanade. So the view from the other side, which would look over Princes Street and down to Leith, you can't really see because of the trees. You really kind of need to go up to the castle for that one. So that's the view if you were looking down towards the Royal Mile, but on the right hand side.
That one, you mean?
Yeah, so behind where my head kind of is, or the arch where Rhona's head is, you can actually go up there without actually getting entrance into the full castle, and the views from up there are fantastic. Unfortunately, you can't get up there just now unless you have a ticket to get into the castle itself. But yeah, you're kind of restricted on views from the esplanade, but still nice to experience the castle. I love going up to the castle every time I'm in Edinburgh.
Do you know, in Chillie, just to interrupt, sorry, one of the other things you said, you know, if you were like a passenger on a cruise ship, you know, was it possible to do Edinburgh? Yes, certainly, because one of the good things about Edinburgh is a lot of the main attractions are quite close to each other, and it is very easy to navigate around on foot. I mean, the hop-on, hop-off bus is an excellent idea, but so many places are so close to each other, so you could certainly do a couple in a day without problem.
Okay. All right. So that looks like a statue of something.
Yeah, there's quite a few memorials and things around the esplanade of the castle. So that's just one of the many ones that are kind of run around the sides of the castle. So you're still on the castle, at the edge of the castle esplanade with this one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just one of the many buildings that are on the Royal Mile. That's just next to St Giles Cathedral. Edinburgh's full, especially the Royal Mile, full of old buildings, interesting architecture and things.
All right. Now here's where you guys were drinking at Greyfriars Bobby. And that is a statue of Greyfriar Bobby.
That's Greyfriars Bobby, certainly.
Okay, so you're going to have to tell the story
Okay,
of
Rhona.
Greyfriar Bobby.
Okay, I'll do this one because I'm very fond of Greyfriars Bobby. Okay, so he was just exactly like the dog in the statue, a Skye Terrier, who belonged to a guy way back, I think about 1850, something like that. He was his little dog. And when the guy died, Greyfriars Bobby went along with the funeral procession to the churchyard, Greyfriars Churchyard, and refused to leave the grave. And he actually sat at his master's grave for, I think, another 14 years. And a lot of people took pity on Greyfriars Bobby. You know, the locals, they would give him food, they would give him water and so on. And it seems quite a sad story in a way, you know, that you spent all that time at the guy's grave. But that's a statue now. So I don't know whether it's for luck or whatever, but people tend to want to rub his nose. That's why it's all worn away. We weren't sure with the virus and so on, should people be doing that? But what we noticed was adults weren't doing it, but they were getting their kids to rub his nose.
They're lifting their kids up to rub his nose.
But it's a cute little statue, yeah.
That's a great story too.
You do know that brass is antibacterial, right? We sell, one of my client companies sells raw brass pens because they're naturally antibacterial.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So kiss away.
No, we could have rubbed Bobby's nose. We'll do that again next time.
Okay, that's a Scott monument. So that's and you see Princess Street just to the right there, and that's sitting in Princess Street Gardens. So that's a monument in honour of Sir Walter Scott, who is a famous Scottish author.
Yeah.
It's closed just now. You can't climb it. I climbed it many years ago, and you used to get a certificate for climbing it. You can only get up so far though. But unfortunately we couldn't get it up this time. But it's a beautiful monument, and it sits prominent on Princess Street. I think that's another one of the war memorials on the esplanade at the castle.
Chillie, we got a message, by the way. I'm still there underneath the pictures. I'm still here. Hello.
You're over there.
Hello.
Wait a minute.
There we I'm here.
Yes,
still here. Yeah. Sunny. Hello, Sunny. Sunny has said, hello, Rhona and Allison and the Cruise Amigos from the US. Do
Hi,
you
Sunny.
see many crazy Americans hugging old buildings? We don't have old, beautiful buildings like these.
Haven't done recently, to be honest. Have you seen any, Allison?
I don't know about hugging them, but yeah, they're certainly popular with the Americans. I think Edinburgh certainly is because of its history. It's got an amazing history. Yeah.
I reckon, ladies, that if we let John and Chillie loose in Edinburgh, they're going to be hugging. They're going to be there, aren't you?
No,
I'm going to be hugging John.
It's compulsory to wear a kilt though, guys, when you come to Edinburgh. So,
I'm all in favor of kilts.
Yeah.
But maybe our American friends can get away with it. But someone from the other side of the border, down in the border, am I going to get away with wearing a kilt? I don't think so.
No, I think you should be wearing one as well, Pete. Definitely, yeah. Enter into the spirit
Gotta
of
make
it.
the effort.
My only problem is I have to wear a really long kilt. That's my problem. I have to have the hem taken down. So.
What do you have in the background there, sir?
If you don't know, I can't tell you.
Okay.
If you don't know what that is.
Yes,
you don't...
I see what it is now.
Oh,
yes.
good. Okay.
Sunny says that she would love to see the kilt wearers, John, Pete, and Chillie.
Could you see my fat butt in a kilt? I'm sorry.
I have actually worn a kilt on television. So yeah.
The last time I wore a kilt, 6 guys tried to flag me down, thought I was a taxi. So I took them for a ride, you know. I mean, hey, I mean, it's like what you do. Do
you remember a show called Never Mind the Buzzcocks by any chance, Allison and Rhona?
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, I happened to do an episode of that where I was in the lineup and I had a Scottish group as the main group. I can't remember where it was. And so we all had to wear kilts, yeah? And they had to decide which one it was. I think they actually chose me for some reason. Got no idea. But I so wanted to do that with my kilt. I really did. I thought I better not do it. I'll get banned from television if I do it. But I was so tempted.
Okay, now see, I have a question about this one. The plague doctor, that's who I get so I can get rid of John.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. That was quite scary, wasn't it, really, Alison? Yeah. Because we went into a place called Mary King's Close, which it takes you back maybe about 500 years throughout the history of Edinburgh. Yeah, that's it exactly. So you're down lots of windy steps and closes and so on. Just kind of, it's like a exhibit where they tell you about the lives of various characters in Edinburgh who lived in these closes all these years ago. You know, maybe tell you what their occupation was, just the living conditions and so on and so forth. And they did mention about the Plague of Edinburgh. And it just seemed quite familiar with what's going on nowadays. But the plague doctor himself seemed to be quite strange because he wasn't an actual doctor. He was just someone that, I guess he sort of pretended to be a doctor, really, and wore all leather, wasn't it? Like a leather hat.
Everything had almost leather. Yeah. And I think they said they put lavender or something at the end of the beak-like mask.
Mm-hmm. So it all seemed very strange, but it did
quite appropriate for what's going on just now. You know, hundreds of years ago, this was happening to get rid of the plague in Edinburgh, and here we are wearing masks and things like that now. It's just, seemed very appropriate.
Sorry, Chillie. Emily, hello, Emily. Emily's here watching us, so a lovely way to Emily in New York. And Emily's asked for the girls, of course. There we go. If I visited during the summer, one day, what can I wear? Shorts, jeans, what's the temperature in Edinburgh? Ladies.
I would take something for spring, summer, autumn and winter, Emily, and you'll be quite safe.
I'm prepared for all weathers because you never know what weather you're going to get from one day to the next. From one morning to the next. Yeah.
So if we're wearing a kilt, we might get the winds blowing up the kilt and we might end up doing a Marilyn Monroe pose with a kilt going up.
Definitely.
Can you imagine the three amigos doing a Marilyn Monroe pose with a kilt going up? That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it can just be so
Keep talking, Pete. Keep talking.
I'm digging myself deeper and deeper, aren't I?
You're just digging a hole, really.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, the day we were there, I mean, there was kind of different types of weather, really, wasn't there? I mean, some points it was a little bit cold, a little bit blowy. Other times it was really quite nice. So you just can't tell.
What the hell is that?
This is me in a kilt.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Me in my kilt.
Yeah, that looks like John.
That looks just exactly like John.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to embarrass John by showing ours, did we, Chillie? Yeah.
Of course not.
Let John get away with that. We didn't want to embarrass him too much.
That's brilliant.
Well, what I think we should do, I know some of you are definitely going in this cruise, not this October, but next October. If we do, if maybe Alison and I join or whatever as well, do you think we should maybe have a Scottish night?
Yes.
That would be good. Yeah.
I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
If
you're on the cruise and have a Scottish night, I will come up with something like a kilt.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to make enough material to get around my fat body, but I mean, it would take several yards. I promise you.
Ladies, we're going to have that Scottish night on either the Dawn or the Epic, either from Venice or from Rome.
Yeah.
Either which way we decide to do it, or which one you want to do. If you join us on there, I think John is most likely going to be on the Epic. John, that's correct, yeah?
It's my baby.
And I'm not sure if you're going to be on the Dawn. So if we're on the Epic,
booked the hotel for Venice. I've reserved the hotel for Venice. I haven't booked the cruise yet, but I'm hoping to be on the Venice one. Yeah.
Then we're going to have to get John into Venice as well, I think, on the kilts. Yeah. I think that's a definite. We got more messages there, Chillie. Do you want to have
Oh, yeah, looky there. Bonnie says, if I'm ever allowed to leave the U.S., I want to do British Isles cruise and visit Ireland and Scotland. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Bonnie's down in Florida, and at least Bonnie, the hurricane's missing you. It went all around Florida, and it's going to nail the hell out of New Orleans, or actually a little west of New Orleans. But so.
Well,
anyway,
talk about the cruise scenario. I mentioned it before about you can do a stop off for the day to go to Edinburgh. Now, if our American friends and anybody really, if they actually wanted to say, okay, I'm going to start a cruise from one of the UK ports and stay in Scotland and tour Scotland first, what's the best way of doing that? You know, are there ports that they can easily get to from Scotland?
Does Rosyth do some cruises, Alison?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think Rosyth is maybe the main one. I think there's maybe some smaller ones, maybe leave from Greenock. I think most cruises that would go around the British Isles would probably, I'd say, leave from Southampton. Some of the ones that leave from Scotland, I think, tend to go to the Norwegian fjords, say, up there. So you might hit some of the islands of Scotland and then hit to the fjords. But I think for the British Isles, it's probably Southampton.
So they could do a week in Scotland and then take the train down to Southampton to take the cruise. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they have flights back again, don't they? I think they have flights between Glasgow and Southampton.
Yeah.
So I think they started up again. Yeah.
How many miles is that about, or kilometers that I can convert?
That'd be about 500 miles, do you think? It's
so 360, 360. Oh, 500 miles. 500 miles.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I'm guessing, yeah.
So an hour and a half airplane flight.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, about that. Yeah. So those are the gates outside the Palace of Holyrood that Rhona was talking about earlier. And I think I had a photo, Chillie, of one of the lampposts as well. I don't know if you've got that.
Lamppost.
It's just
while you're looking for that, Chillie, Nikki says hi. Hi, Nikki. Nikki's here.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello, all ladies. I love the photos.
I don't know. I might have missed that one, Allison. I don't know.
The lampposts outside Holyrood Palace have little crowns on top. They were quite an unusual shape with little crowns. That's at the back of St Giles Cathedral again on the Royal Mile. That's I think that's the Market Cross. I don't know if it's the original one, but that kind of sits in Parliament Square. So I think years ago that's where they used to do the any announcements, royal announcements and things like that.
Oh, it's not a loo? It's not a toilet?
No.
Oh, I thought it was like in Amsterdam. You know, in Amsterdam there's just little places you could stop by and get some relief. No, okay.
I'm sure some people probably think it's that and try to use it as that. I'm not sure.
They may well have done, yes.
You're talking about Hollywood, yeah, ladies?
Holyrood.
How would you spell that? Is it spelled the same as the American version?
No, it's Rood instead of wood. R-O-O-D. Holyrood.
R-O-D. Okay, Hollywood. R-O-D.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, where's the clock?
So that's again still on the Royal Mile. It's further down from the castle towards the Palace of Holyrood. And that's the toll booth, I think. So that used to be years ago for a courthouse. There's quite a lot of towns in Scotland have toll booths Where I'm from in the Highlands, we have a toll booth as well. So it was like a courthouse and there was a jail in it. So it would be a jail for like minor offences. So I believe that's what that was.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's just many of the streets. When obviously, if you go over to the old side of Edinburgh where the castle is, because the castle's on a hill, obviously a lot of the streets are quite steep. So that's coming up from Waverley Bridge up towards we're standing on the Royal Mile looking down.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of streets like that in the old town. Beautiful. Okay. That's where we stopped to have our gin, Rhona.
That's the Scottish Parliament. It's a very strange design of a building. Anyway,
wow.
Alison and I, we were feeling a little bit weary by that time, so we had to have a little bit of a sit down. It was actually quite nice and sunny, and Alison produced a couple of little tins of gin out of her handbag.
Is that the outside swimming pool for the Parliament?
So that was smuggled gin.
It was, yes.
Mm.
It was.
So we did, yeah.
All right, now tell me about this guy, because unfortunately I tried to download the video and I couldn't, it wouldn't download to me. So
it's probably because I took that one, Chillie, and my phone's rubbish. So, but yeah.
Okay.
This guy, he stands on the corner of Waverley Bridge and Princess Street. He's there quite a lot. I think that's his pitch, and he plays tunes all day in his kilt. And it's great if you're arriving off the train or in Edinburgh and to sit and I love hearing all the pipes every time you go to Edinburgh. It's just something all over when you're walking about in the various streets, you'll get people piping. And it's just a lovely sound. So that's him in front of in the background. You can see the Scottish Monument and the castle in the far background.
And is it protocol? Can you give him money, or do they not do it for tips?
Yeah, yeah, they do.
So what does he put out then? The bladder of the pig, or what does he put out for you to throw tips in? I mean, what? No, seriously, I'm asking what. I don't see any open guitar case or anything.
Yeah, he has a little can that's actually over to his right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He definitely had something, because there was a little
video was wide enough screen that it showed a little girl actually coming over and giving him a tip.
And then can you pay him more not to play?
I suppose you could try.
I'm glad you said that, John. I couldn't say it. Chillie, you got a few more messages, by the way. If you want to click on
that little girl, Chillie, that you saw, he played Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on the pipes for that little girl.
No kidding. Wow. Awesome. That's neat.
Yeah.
That's neat. Yeah.
Emily has an adult beverage question. What is the best cocktail / beer to drink?
Ooh. Well, we like any alcohol really in Scotland, don't we? whiskey, gin, anything. we're not too fussy here, Emily, to be quite honest.
Generally fussy. I think
we do like something called for a soft drink, if it's non-alcoholic. We have our Scottish drink is called Iron Brew. Mm-hmm. It's a soft drink and it's orange. It's hard to describe what taste it is, but you definitely have to try some Iron Brew if you're in Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think Edinburgh's quite well known for gins as well, isn't it? All kinds of different gins are produced in Edinburgh, and I must admit during lockdown I have sampled quite a lot of those in my home bar.
Would I have trouble finding bourbon?
Question.
Do you drink any particular brand?
Well, yeah, I drink Elijah Craig, but that's my private stock that I use. Right. But a lot of places that I found when I'm traveling aren't big in bourbon like we are here in the States. Now they'll have whiskey, but they don't actually have bourbon. So the connoisseur like me, there's a major difference between whiskey.
Keyword there is sewer. Connoisseur.
Ladies,
keyword.
Can you tell us, kind of the best times to go? For instance, you've got the Edinburgh Festival that happens, which is famous. You have New Year's Eve in Edinburgh. Is it in Edinburgh?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So when's the best times to go? When's the best times to go? It looks like the best time to go for John is now. By the way, he's just gone.
Yeah, John had a meeting to go to, so we knew he was leaving.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do like to go to Edinburgh on Hogmanay, which is the 31st of December, the day before New Year, because, you know, there's it's almost like a big festival, really, isn't it? You know, the eyes of the world are on Edinburgh, the fireworks, and they also have in Princess Square Gardens, they have a Christmas market, which is very nice to see. I've been not actually on Hogmanay because it would just be far too busy for me, but I've been a few times, a few days like before it, the 28th, 29th of December. That was quite a good time to go because you could still see things like the Christmas markets. It wasn't totally freezing to walk around or anything. I quite like a December visit sometimes, yeah.
And the Edinburgh Arts Festival, world famous. Yeah. When is that, and have you been?
I've been 2 or 3 times. It's usually about August time because it's usually the same time as the military tattoo's on as well, and it's so busy, very, very busy. But there's so much going on. The streets are just, especially the Royal Mile and just all the streets off and ever, just filled with street artists, and there's shows all over the city from just about everything you could ever want to do. All the pubs are opened up with shows. I mean, it's just so lively. It's very busy, but brilliant to see. There's just so much going on.
What our friends could do if they wanted to, they could come over for the Edinburgh Festival, spend a wonderful week in Edinburgh in August, which is a wonderful time, and then maybe take a British Isles cruise from Southampton or from wherever. Again, it's a great time of year. So that's a really great way of seeing the country.
It might be worth them staying just slightly outside of Edinburgh, because trying to find somewhere to stay in Edinburgh during the festival will be nigh on impossible and expensive. But a lot of people maybe stay in Glasgow or stay just, you know, sort of north of Edinburgh. It's very easy to get through to Edinburgh from the train from Glasgow, and you can, you know, you'll be able to get accommodation easy, and you can see both sides of Scotland, you know, the 2 cities there, Glasgow and Edinburgh, and easily travel in and out of Edinburgh.
A good G&T, by the way, is a gin and tonic. We've been asked a gin and tonic, yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed for the past 2 weeks watching the ladies golfers from Scotland. They did 2 weeks back to back, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
and again, for our American friends who don't really know the geographics of Scotland, if you wanted to go to Edinburgh and visit, and you decided that you wanted to go and have a look for the Loch Ness Monster and try and see if you can find the Loch Ness Monster, which I know that you see regularly, probably. How far is the Loch Ness from Edinburgh? Is it easy to get to, and what would you advise on that?
If they were, you'd be able to get quite a few. If you're staying in Edinburgh and you want to use Edinburgh as your base, there's quite a few tour companies there. There's one that I can think of, a company called Rabbie's Tours, which is excellent. They do lots of tours. I've been on their day tours from here, and they go up Loch Lomond. They do ones up to Loch Ness. They do 2-3 days to maybe Skye. They're fantastic. Their tours are superb, and they're not expensive. So certainly if you wanted to go up that way without the hassle of driving yourselves, because some of the roads can be quite twisty and turny and narrow. If you're not sure of the roads and don't want to drive, then I would say definitely do one of the many day trips or 2-3 days away that you can do up to the Highlands, up to Inverness or somewhere, and see a part of that world as well, because there's so much to see up there.
The Scott Monument,
Again, that was from right the base of the monument, looking up to the top.
Awesome. So I think that might be the end of my pictures. Yeah, that's
and one of the things. If you did do the Highlands, by the way, I mean, I've done it as well. There is if you did Edinburgh to start with, and you then went to the Highlands and searched for the monster, and there is an overnight train that goes from Loch Ness all the way to London, and the views are just absolutely stunning. They really are.
Does the monster come on the train?
I think the monster probably chases the train, Chillie.
Ah.
You see the monster running by the train,
I was really surprised at Rhona talking about the winter. I mean, my picture of Scotland in the winter is
horrendous. No, not really. I mean, we can obviously have snow and stuff, but as I say, yeah, I've been to Edinburgh a few times in the winter, and yes, it was cold. It would blow up your kilt, Chillie, that's for sure. So you need to watch going down those cobbled streets with the wind blowing up. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, come to think about it, do those guys wear kilts in the winter? I mean, that'd be a little breezy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, all year round.
I have to admit, I don't know a whole lot about kilt etiquette.
Are there any secret races? I mean, because we all know any secret things to do if you're going to go to Scotland, apart from the most obvious tourist attractions that everybody will go to. Is there something that maybe only the Scots know about, that most of us, even English like me, and I haven't been to Edinburgh. Can you believe it? I've never been. It's dreadful, I know.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Anything, ladies, that we don't know about as off the beaten track?
Up as far as the Highlands go, where I'm from, there's a route called the NC 500 that is becoming extremely popular if you're driving. So you can drive right up from Inverness across the west and right the way around the whole north coast and back down. And it has many stop-off points. That if you look up the NC 500, it's becoming extremely popular with everybody from all over. And the scenery and the beaches and everything up there are just stunning. And a lot of people don't think of Scotland have stunning beaches, but if you go up the far north and the west coast of Scotland, up the north, I mean, the beaches are absolutely stunning. And to some of the islands, you'll see beaches that you never thought existed in Scotland.
That is great. Just to repeat, especially for our American friends, the NC 500, yeah?
Yeah.
And Chillie, you drive on the wrong side of the road. So make sure if you do take the NC 500, you drive on the correct side of the road, yeah?
A lot of the roads are single track, so you have to, it's just only one car, so you have to go into passing places and let cows and sheep and people pass.
I have driven in Europe before,
Love
Pete.
Yeah.
Many times I have driven in Europe and I never had a wreck. So, yes, I know there's times that I'm on the wrong side of the road, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, famous last words.
Scotland before? Chillie, had you been to Scotland before? I can't remember.
Yes. Oh, yes. But I have not been to Glasgow.
All right,
I have been to Edinburgh one time.
Yep.
And I probably wasn't sober, but that's
okay.
Now, was that when you left Edinburgh? Or when you arrived?
In Edinburgh, I mean, we talked about Greyfriars Bobby's pub. Are there lots of other pubs around?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of places if you wanted to go tipple, you could do so.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The very big choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you got any favourites?
Mile is Deacon Brodie's Tavern. That's my favourite one on the Royal Mile, but it was too busy for us the other day. There's too many people and it's quite small, but yeah, that has to be my favourite pub in Edinburgh, definitely.
Awesome. Ladies, I have to thank you for just a delightful show. I wanted to do this and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you guys a bunch for being with us. And that's going to wrap us up for today, guys. A lovely Girls Day in Edinburgh with Rhona and Allison. And that's just awesome. Pete, of course, thank you for being with me. And guys, tomorrow we're going to be talking to Allison again about Dubrovnik. So same time tomorrow, and we'll do a little more with Allison then. So thanks everybody for being with me. I'll see you next time on the Cruise Amigos, live from Virginia.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.